this is how life is all about. Life is all about taking risk. Life is all about self-confidence. Life is all about pushing yourself. Life is all about being independent instead of waiting for somebody to come in to help you, or waiting for your parents to help you to support yourself. But you should be the one to support yourself and support your parents and your family members. My name is Syed Waqar Ali Shah. I am currently working as a lecturer at the English Language Development Center, Mirha University of Engineering and Technology, Jamshid Hussain. I'm also author of 3 books. I wrote my first book in 2016, which was published in Germany. And second, I wrote a book which was published by Fiction House, Lahore. And then I also wrote one book under the title of A Conversation with a Daughter, when I was blessed with a daughter. I belonged to a family which was economically unstable at the time when I was a child. My father had a small shop, and he also had a land. At night, he used to go for farming. I was also part of the entire process. I did my primary schooling from my village, government primary school, Sita village, and then I also went for secondary education in the same village. At that time, I remember that I was an extraordinary child. In class 8th, I remember that I got 2 prizes. One of the prize I got for being top in the classroom, and other prize I got for being top in the entire school. During my school days, I had a passion for teaching as well, and I think I inherited this thing from my brothers. I used to give tuitions in the evening time to support myself. I had a dream to support my family as well, because I knew that my family had a low economic background, so I thought of supporting my family too. When I completed my matriculation examination, I was given one offer to teach in a private school, where I started my teaching career during my college days. And because of my English language skills, I was also offered principalship in college, where I served for 1 year. I remember that I earned 600 rupees as a salary during my teaching, and then when I was principal, I was offered 1100, and I also had a private tuition center. So that was the point where I thought that even though you are born in a poor family, but when you are courageous and you are bold, you can always start your career, you can always support yourself and then support your family. I remember that I came in Qasimabad in 2007. I got shifted there, and I appeared in the Mirha University test twice. And unfortunately, I could not qualify that. I failed it, and I continued my teaching for 2 years in Qasimabad, and then I thought of getting admission in University of Sindh. And this normally happens in Pakistani context, that our career is not decided by the youth at their time. It is always decided by the elders. So I was also asked to go for the BBA and other choices, but because I myself had a kind of passion for English language and teaching, so I kept my second choice as English, and fortunately enough that I got that choice, and I got selected there. I continued my bachelor studies there for 4 years, and there was a time after 2 years we had to decide whether we should go for linguistics or literature, because English is always split into 2 parts, and I was curious to know about linguistics. Even though I had a passion for literature, I was inspired by the Russian literature, German literature. There were some literary figures, philosophers and theorists who always inspired me, such as Nietzsche, Goethe, and Anton Chekhov, and there were many other theorists and writers who always inspired me. But despite that, I kept reading literature, and then I decided that I should try to study language as a scientific phenomena. So I went for that. I completed my bachelor studies doing education in the morning time, and then from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. I kept on teaching in different private centers, and then giving home tuitions. So when I completed my graduation, my career started with the IBA Community College. I was always thinking about joining any college, any school which could add to my knowledge, add to my skills. So IBA was the best option, and I remember that when I appeared in the test, I was 7th, in number, and there was only one position there. And when I appeared in the interview, we were about 8 to 9 people, and I was lucky enough to be selected there. So I continued my IBA services there for 1 year, and during that time I had always a dream, a passion for higher education. I applied for PhD Indigenous Scholarship from HEC, and luckily enough I did qualify that. I was given HEC scholarship, and for that, and this was a turning point in my life, I would say that, because at that time I had to take a risk. The risk was actually, I was given an option, either I have to continue with the job or I have to go with my higher education. And at that time, Manha University of Engineering and Technology announced the positions for masters, and I applied for the admission there, and I was selected. Got admission in Manha University in master's degree, and it was the first batch of masters that I got selected there. So during that time, there was another risk that I had to take. I did perform very well in my first semester, and there were some positions for teaching assistantships. They were announced at English Language Development Center, Manha University of Engineering and Technology, Jamshedpur. When I appeared in the interview, I clearly remember that what the interview panel asked me that if you have already got HEC scholarship, then why you need TAship, because TAship was again need come best. I said that I'm really curious and passionate about teaching at Manha University, and I want to learn from the experienced faculty. So they asked me that if you want to avail this opportunity, you have to simply quit, withdraw from the scholarship. So that was the turning point. I was really wondering if I could, because this was the first risk that I took. I left, I resigned from IBA. I also did complete my master's at that time. So with the passage of time, Manha University announced the position for lecturership, and I appeared in the test, and luckily enough I topped in the test, and I got selected there. So I always believe that when you are taking a risk in life, when especially you are taking a calculated risk in life, you will always achieve success. There are some people who are afraid of taking risks. They believe that risk taking might lead them to failure, but I don't believe in such kind of thing, because without risk it is never possible in our life to go for the successes. And I have read through various stories of successful people, and I have found that they have taken risks. For example, if you look at the Alibaba company, I just heard a lecture, and then he just shared story that how he took different risks in life and then he succeeded. So that's what I believe, that we should take risk, and what I am today is because of those things. I had I would share one thing, that throughout my career I have been a good reader, and this reading has really instilled a sense of confidence, a sense of encouragement in me, that I should always try to excel in future, excel in my life, and I should be supporting to other people as well. So initially I thought that I should go for PhD admission in Pakistan, and I got enrolled in the university, but then I developed a passion for PhD abroad. And this is something I would like to emphasize, that the PhD experience was really very struggling phase of my life, where I could share that I submitted around 50 applications to different parts of the world. I applied to US, Canada, and New Zealand, and Finland, and other European countries. And in my first phase, I remember that about 1.5 years, I simply got rejections. Though I had some admission offers there at my hand, but I did not have funding. And that was the time I had a kind of disappointment in my life, that maybe I'm not getting opportunities. But I did overcome that. I did not simply give up and I quit that thing. No, I thought that no, when I am passionate, I should go for a higher studies, and I would be able to get some better opportunity. And luckily enough, New Zealand and Finland had always been on the top list when it came to PhD. I got admission in New Zealand, and I was planning for going to New Zealand there. I thought that I would go there and I would work and earn myself. My entire life has been struggling. In a struggling phase, I have earned myself, I have supported myself and the family. So it was not a new and difficult thing for me. So that was the phase where I would say that, people sometimes become disappointed with the failures, but failures are always part of. And believe me, I would say that I started enjoying failures because I learned one thing, that when you are failing in life, you will always be learning something. Because I remember that I contacted more than 80 professors around the world in my field. So when I was getting fail in something, for example, I had something to learn. I started reflecting on what went bad, what went worse in my applications. I started improving that. And that really, added me, and then that really helped me to get PhD offer from one of the country which was of my dream, that was Finland. So this is how life is all about. Life is all about taking risk. Life is all about self-confidence. Life is all about pushing yourself. Life is all about being independent instead of waiting for somebody to come in to help you, or waiting for your parents to help you to support yourself. But you should be the one to support yourself and support your parents and your family members. And I think that is something that would instill a sense of self-confidence in you. And I think as a teacher, when I look at my students, I think they are really, most of them are really lacking these skills. They have no self-confidence, and maybe they are not trying to be independent. They're just getting everything ready-made from their family. They are being supported by them. So, and many students are there, for example, who belong to poor family. They have low economic background, and they have some complaints that they have no support because they are living in a system which is based on injustice and all these things. Even though the system is based on injustice, and we understand that there are many issues in our social structure, but despite that, I think we as individuals have potential to overcome those barriers in our life, and we can always do that successfully. So that is what I would say. I would encourage the youth to be independent, to develop a self-confidence in them, and never wait for anybody to come in your life to help you, but be courageous, be bold, and just start pushing yourself. The more you push yourself, the better opportunity you would have for yourself in the future. So in modern world, I would say that there are certain skills that are very important for the youth. For example, as a language teacher, I always see that most of the students, they do not have command over the English language skills. So I would suggest them to improve their language skills, because whenever they try to excel in their future, English would be the first thing that would be coming on the way. So for example, they have to contact with the different professors abroad, so they need to have better language skills, and they also need to have the knowledge of email writing, how to communicate with them effectively. And beside them, they should try to know the format and layout of all these things, because I know that many students, when they try to write applications, letters, or SOPs, for example, they really fail to write effective SOPs and effective emails, and therefore this leaves a bad impression on them. So I would suggest them to improve the soft skills and their language skills, which are the core skills, I must say that in the present age. If they are not working hard, if they are not committed, if they are not serious about improving these things, there would be a failure in the future. So they have to learn a lot of skills which they have analyzed besides their own subject, besides their knowledge of their own field. The other skills which are really important, they should be improved. Thank you so much.